All right, all right, all right. We are live. That's how we like to be, is live all day. All right, let's see what we got up here. All right, cool. Good, good, good. Josh Centers. Josh Centers is up in the house already. Link. Mario. Zelda. All right, Medina's here. Good. Medina. Medina, how we doing tonight? I didn't hear much from you today. The stock market was a little bloody, wasn't it? Tammy, all right. Hello, Tammy. How are you doing? Good. Wow. 5 people already showed up. Cool. 4% return today on Link. I made a whopping 15 cents. Huh. You'll figure it out, Josh. Ha 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 ha. I can't say the other part. But you know what I'm talking about, buddy. All right, long day we had. So red I couldn't see through all the blood caused by manga. Yeah. Today was a great day to add to your long-term positions. I didn't actually. I picked up a couple shares in my Robinhood account. I had some loose cash in there, but I did not. It was just pretty bloody, and I wasn't really. How do I want to say this? I wasn't really positioned well. You know, I wasn't positioned where I needed to be to spend money today. I was actually planning on, making some money today, and that didn't happen. So, we all have that happen as traders. Just, all this stuff too is coming out about we're gonna have a, economic collapse and, a global recession and all this stuff, and I'm not seeing any data, but you know what? When news articles start getting punched out like that, guess what? People believe it, and people take it to heart, and they sell everything they got, and it's like I said, it's a style of writing. It's a way of writing to scare people. It's just, writers know how to scare traders, and it works, Nice work, Josh. Tammy says, so, what do you think about IGC? Well, Tammy, let's get to that. Remind me of that question here in a bit, because I want to start on IPOs. So I believe, let me jump over here real quick. Okay. First thing I want to talk about, guys, is I'm going to start announcing my live chats through the community tab. I was just watching a video about 10 minutes ago on how to do it, and I think I've already figured it out. However, I have to enable it, and I didn't see the point of posting one 10 minutes before this live chat. But I know Marcos was on me the other night about having a way to communicate when I'm going to have all of my live chats, and they are scheduled, but at the same time you might not get an alert. So I'm going to start sending out one of those community tab postcards, earlier in the day to announce when I'll be going live. So I'm working on that. I about got that nailed down. The subject of tonight's video, or tonight's live chat, is how to invest in IPOs. I believe this was suggested by Tony Batu a couple of weeks ago, and I've wrote it down, and it was in my homework folder, and I was like, you know what? Tonight is a great opportunity to do that, okay? Because I think the sentiment today is everyone's kind of beat down. I mean, everything was red. I had a couple of stocks that were in the green. I know Verizon was in the green, and I know all my banking stocks were green today. But tech, marijuana, defense, nearly everything else, I was dark red. I was down 3% on Google. I was down 3% on Facebook. and I wasn't positioned to really buy into more into my long term holds. So just kind of an ugly day. So the first thing I want to talk about is just what exactly an IPO is. And I'm sure most of you know. I'm going to jump over here to scene 2 so y'all can follow along. I'd only have really 2 things to show on this, but it's just easier if everybody can see it. So an IPO is an initial public offering, okay? An initial public offering is when a private company or corporation raises investment capital by offering its stock to the public for the first time. So we just had several live chats and videos about this, like NEO. NEO is probably the most popular one. We're going to get into NEO. NEO plays a big role in a lot of the marketing schemes that go on in IPOs. It's growing companies seeking capital to expand are those that are generally used in IPOs. But large privately owned companies or corporations looking to become publicly traded can also do so. In an IPO offering, the issuer or company raising capital brings in an underwriting firm or investment bank to help determine the best type of security to issue, the offering price, the amount of shares, and time frame for the market offering. And that's just a big mouthful of blah, blah, blah. What it really comes down to is just a private company wants to be publicly traded. So they want the support of shareholders. And, with that comes a lot of pressure and, a very high bar to try to jump over every month. Okay. The other term we're going to use quite a bit tonight too, guys, is the IPO lockup. Okay, this is very critical too if you're going to do any IPO investing. So an IPO lockup, or it's also referred to as the lockup period, is a contractual caveat referring to a period after a company has gone public when major shareholders are prohibited from selling their shares. Okay, so basically if you underwrite a loan or you underwrite an IPO like JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citigroup, any of the big banks that usually underwrite these IPOs, they have a period of time where they cannot sell their shares, and it's usually somewhere between 3 and 6 months, and sometimes you'll even see them up to 1 year. Okay, kind of depends on the market cap and the size of the company going public. But those are the 2 terms we're going to use tonight: IPO and IPO lockup. Okay. All right, so let me get this here. All right. So, I hate to sound like Fight Club, but the first rule of investing in IPOs is don't invest in IPOs, okay? And the number 2 rule of investing in IPOs is just don't invest in IPOs, okay? Usually, you're going to get burnt unless you're going to go long, very, very long, most of the time, you're not going to see gains if you buy on IPO day. Okay, if you buy into a stock on IPO day, a lot of times you're going to take a loss. You're going to get a much cheaper price. Sometimes you will get lucky though, like Ferrari. Ferrari is a stock that I can think of that it ran from the time it IPO'd and it just kept on running. That was a very rare case. There's been others. There's oh, come on, what's the name of it? The music streaming service. Oh, I'm having a brain problem right now. I can see the word, I just can't say it. Hold on. Spotify. Okay, yeah. Spotify, when it IPO'd, it's held its gains pretty well. But I can tell you millions of horror stories. I can tell you all kinds of stocks that IPO'd and they fell and they dropped. And that's most of the time what's going to happen to you, okay? But if you just insist on investing in IPOs, there is a couple little techniques and ideas I have that I'd like to share with you all. And then I'll come back to the chat and we can talk about this some more, okay? So, here's how I would do it, and here's how I have done it before. I've only really been heavily involved in one big IPO in my life, and that's Alibaba. Everybody knows about that. Pretty much everybody that knows me knows I was a angel investor in Alibaba. But my one thing I definitely try to do, guys, is I want to look for the best underwriters. Okay? Now, this doesn't guarantee that the stock is going to run. This is just like social proof. Okay? So if JP Morgan and Citigroup and Bank of America, some of the bigger, stronger banks are willing to stand behind a company, that should be another little token of confidence that you should have investing into an IPO. Does not mean the stock is going to run, but I have noticed over the years when the big investment firms and the big banks tend to underwrite a stock, it usually performs better. And it's still, like I said, it's still a crapshoot. The thing you got to remember is these banks are getting the shares much, much cheaper than the public is. Okay, they're getting hundreds and thousands of shares way, way cheaper than the public is. Okay, so they're gonna make their money on it. It's very, very rarely that an IPO doesn't work out for a big bank. Okay. So that's one of the first things I would do. Like I said, look for the absolute best underwriters. You want the best banks under your stock. That really goes for any company, though. Any company you invest in, you want the best amount of support you can get. Okay. The next thing to keep in mind about IPOs, guys, is your data is very, very limited. Okay. So you have to conduct as much personal research as you can. Because, like I said, you don't have earnings reports, you don't have margins, you don't have any kind of public information to really look at. Okay, you can't go and pull up a year of earnings. You can't go up and pull, all their margins, their PE ratio, and all the stuff we use to kind of measure how healthy a stock is fundamentally. You don't have any of that. And the thing about it, guys, these companies can lie. Okay? Look at the lie Snapchat told everybody. And I'm not saying that what they said wasn't necessarily true, but Snapchat painted this picture like we are the most profitable social media network that's ever existed. And look what's happened there. It wasn't true. None of that was true. It took one earnings report to tell that they were full of shit. Okay? So I don't care how much excitement gets generated, and I don't care how much you might love a product or whatever. Keep in mind, you don't know anything, until you get that first couple of earnings reports. Okay, you just don't know anything. So conduct as much personal research as you can. If that means calling the company directly and trying to communicate with people on that, using their company website, use every resource you can to fully investigate every little detail. If you really want to get in on a stock, that's my advice. Go that extra mile. Bring it up, talk about it, socialize it. Say, hey, I'm interested in this IPO there. We'll get together as a group and we'll figure out something. We'll have some small advantage somebody else won't. But conduct as much personal research as you can. And like I said, even contacting the company directly and trying to get some private information, I'm all for it. One thing I can really example that stands out in my mind, everybody's pretty familiar with NEO. Okay, so let's talk about NEO for just a second. Because NEO come out, they IPO'd. There wasn't a lot of excitement going into the IPO. It wasn't until they actually filed and was ready to go. Then everybody got excited to go. And I'll tell you the exact words they used to do it. They said, we're the Tesla of China. Those three little words right there, Tesla of China, generated all this excitement. Everybody got, they're the Tesla of China. Oh, I've got to throw some money at that. They generated all this excitement. And everybody got, jumped in and bought a bunch of shares. And soon, a couple days, it didn't take long. Everybody figured out if they're not the Tesla of China. That was very, intelligent branding. That was very good marketing. But They were not the Tesla of China, and I think it's going to be pretty nasty on their first earnings report. I think, they don't even make hardly any cars, and they have a third-party company doing that for them anyway. So they might be the Tesla of China in 10 or 20 years maybe, but they're not right now. So you got to watch out for stuff like that. Stuff sounds really good, does not mean it's good. NIO stock is not doing well now. You can get in way cheaper than you could 2 weeks ago. Okay, now the next little thing I want to talk about is I want you to, if you're going to be a true investor in IPOs, guys, you have to believe in your product and you have to have some belief in the business model. Okay, so I'll give my example, and I encourage all of you to give your examples down in the comments section, but with Alibaba. Okay, so I was following Alibaba 2 years before they IPO'd, and every little thing I could find on YouTube or the news where Jack Ma was going, public, doing any kind of public speaking, I made sure I listened to every word that dude said so I could hear when he was thinking about taking the company, public. I clinged on to, I constantly checking in on the website, researching, because I had 2 years of research going into the IPO, because I believed in the product. I did a lot of research on it, and I already could see the business model was going to be so effective. Okay, so by the time they went to IPO, I already had enough data collected to know I want a part of this company. This company is going to be huge. They already were huge the day they IPO'd, and I was well studied going into that. Okay, now if you're not prepared like that, and you just kind of shooting from the hip, I kindly ask you not to be investing in IPOs, because you'll get yourself into a NIO situation. You'll throw a bunch of money at something you don't know very much about, and then you're going to start finding stuff out, and you're going to be sadly disappointed, and you're going to be sitting there holding the bag on a bunch of junk stock, and for who knows for how long, So definitely, like I said, I know everybody in here is anticipating the Robinhood IPO. I know everybody in here is anticipating the Lyft and the Uber IPO. And so we have time to, we're all anticipating that. As this gets closer, as we get closer to an IPO date, we can continue our research and keep, studying up on that, communicating and talking about that. So by the time it's showtime and ready to buy shares, we've made a strong decision on that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, the next thing, like I said, I've only been a true angel investor in one company. That was Alibaba. But my suggestion is to try to apply for pre-IPO shares, because they're going to be cheaper before you buy in. Once it hits the market. Once it hits the market, you're usually going to get a big pop right off the bat. 30%, 40%, 50%. So I would prefer to get in pre-IPO. Now, let me explain that real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining it, but getting into market and pre-market shares, or pre-IPO shares, guys, it's definitely hard. You got to have a lot of money and you'll still get rejected. Like I said, a couple years ago, when I applied for pre-IPO shares during the Alibaba IPO, I was going up against guys. I seen orders on my broker's table, and he was not supposed to show me that, but I seen stuff. People were coming in with $5 million, $10 million, $20 million, and Josh will even tell you that we live in rural Tennessee. Okay, it is not, we're 50, 60 miles away from Nashville, so this branch was located maybe halfway in between where we live in Nashville. And like I said, guys were outbidding me by the millions of dollars. Okay, so I was lucky to get the little bit of shares I got. However, those guys with the millions of dollars, they're getting outbid by guys with billions of dollars. Okay, so but I will always encourage you to try to, at least try to. Okay, So, when the Robinhood, Lyft, and Uber, if that's a company you really want to be invested in, I might go talk to your broker and maybe start talking to him now. Say, hey, I want to try to get in pre-IPO if I can, and then let them kind of guide you. Say, okay, I'll call you when we get this, we get this settlement date. When we get this date, we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Come down here, fill out the paperwork. But, you got to kind of stay up their butt. You got to be in them, you got to have your elbow in their back quite a bit. So try to, you can try to get pre-IPO shares. I'm not going to promise you're going to get them because, like I said, you're going to be going up against people with millions of dollars and they're going up against people with billions of dollars. So good luck. And then the last thing I want to talk about, guys, is to consider waiting till the lockup expiration date has been reached. So we talked about that. I showed that slide here a minute ago. But your lockup expiration date, a lot of times the big underwriters will sell off. Okay, so this is billions of dollars of stock. They'll sell off at their 90-day or 180-day expiration date. So, and a lot of times there'll be a secondary offering too, which basically is like a second IPO. They offer out more shares of the stock, and it liquidates the price down real low so more people can buy the shares. And I don't like when companies do that. I know when GoPro did that a few years ago, I know it was going to be downhill after that, and it was. So a secondary offering to me is usually a bad sign because you don't want to liquidate shares like that. But if you don't get in a company IPO on IPO date, that's fine. Wait and figure out the lockup expiration date and when the big banks can leave the company, and then find out what they're going to do. Find out what the big boys are going to do and kind of follow them. If JP Morgan's leaving, and Citigroup's leaving, and Bank of America and Goldman and Morgan Stanley and all the big, if they're leaving, you probably want to stay away from it. If they're going to stay and hold 80-90% of their shares, you probably going to want in, But when all those big banks sell off, that can kill the stock price. I mean, it can just, because now there's some institutional ownership, but it's mostly shareholders holding all the stock. And that you might see company buybacks, but you might not. Because like I said, look at Snapchat. Snapchat was $27 on IPO day, and it's it's like $8 or $9 a share now. So, and I'm going to conclude with this. My best advice to each and every one of you, if you don't love a company, if you're not madly in love with a company and you want it and you're willing to go the long haul with them, just don't invest in IPOs, okay? It goes back to Rule 1 and Rule 2. Just don't invest in IPOs. I'd rather you invest in established companies that you can fundamentally analyze, and you're going to take a lot less losses, going that route. Now I'm going to jam back over to the live chat. All right. Whoa, I missed a bunch of stuff. All right. Good. Bunch of people in here tonight. Awesome. I love it. All right, Medina, I got Match and Visa while the bloodbath was going on. Good. Medina, I'm glad you got some stocks today. Good. Awesome. I didn't hear much from you. I thought you might have run away because it was so red today. I was like, I hope Medina's all right. Tony Batu. All right. Yo, everybody, put on the stock market crisis videos. Sell so I can buy more. All right, Josh, time to buy liquor, gold, and shit coins. It's always time to buy liquor. Among my positions and watch list, everything but 5 things were green. Yeah, same with me. My Verizon was green. My banking stocks were green. A couple of my ETFs were green. But all of my tech stocks were hammered. My marijuana positions, my defense companies, man, everything was nice and red today. And hey, whatever. Days like today, I might spend an extra hour at the gym, or go do, maybe play some video games, or go out to eat and do some fun stuff and just kind of get my mind off of it. I should have been a little more prepared for today, but I wasn't. But that's okay. That's part, it's part of being an investor. You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to make every perfect decision, and life goes on. Click the like button. Smash them like buttons, everyone. Smash them like buttons, baby. All right. Dashiko, smarter investing. IPOs are risky. Yes, absolutely. Spotify. That's right. I don't know why I couldn't remember Spotify. Thank you. Josh has always got my 9. His mind is still on that red day. I know. Well, it's like I said, when I wake up and everything in pre-market is red, sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I'm like, okay, everything's red. That's fine. Let's give it a few hours. I know this market. We'll have a turnaround about midday, and we'll end the. But then when we're 2, 3, all the big exchanges are down, and everything's down. There was a little bit of sector rotation, like the telecoms moved a little bit, banking moved a little bit, but everything else was just, and I don't have any money in free. I don't have enough money to speak of in my IRA that's loose available to trade right now. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this day and not worry about no stocks. I'll go play with YouTube for a while. CyberRave. All right, cool. CyberRave, me and you were talking just a minute ago on YouTube. And you can, let's talk about, if you want to post or comment on the stuff we were talking about. I had to kind of skip through it. I had to get prepared for this. Tony says, I invest in whiskey, vodka, and rum. Good thinking. Good thinking. CyberRave, I went back to catch up. Real good. Josh Sanders, when you call a company, what do you say? What do you ask? Okay, so I guess it just depends on what I'm calling about. Okay, if I'm calling a private company and that's going to be IPOing, I'm trying to beat them out of every piece of information I possibly can. Okay, because they do have numbers on the books. Now, by law they're not supposed to disclose that information. They have profit margins. They have all the same stuff a publicly traded company does. It's just technically it's insider trading. So it's all about how you approach them. It's all about how you scratch them under the chin. Maybe sometimes you gotta feed their ego a little bit. But if that information is worth, doing that, then I'd say go for it, because now like Alibaba, they were very public about all their stuff. They were very public about all their margins and their earnings and stuff like that. They were very public as they could be about it. Okay, without coming out and saying, here you go, here's an earnings report. But yeah, so what I would do is locate your investor relations department, and like I said, start building a relationship. That's my advice. It's not just make one phone call and you're done. You're building a relationship, and you're showing keen interest as an investor. Any way I can help, anything I can do. Can you send me stuff in the mail? Can I take your daughter out to eat? Whatever you got to do to get in there and start building a relationship. We can barely handle the Tesla of we can barely handle the Tesla of America, much less the Tesla of China. Right. And how dare they call themselves the Tesla of China? They're not. They don't even produce enough vehicles, or what it was, guys. They generated a lot of excitement on IPO day. They generated a lot of excitement. They said those 3 words. How many times did we all hear it? Tesla of China, Tesla of China. We heard that so many times, and it just generated enough excitement. People went out and bought shares. I went out and bought shares. I picked up 3 shares because, why not? But I'm at like a 40% loss on my, I think it might, here, let me check. I think my stake in NEO is worth like maybe $15 or $20 now. Let me look and I'll tell you here. Yeah, so my 3 shares of NEO are worth $18.24. And I paid $30 for it. So I'm at a $12 loss. But I don't really care, you know. It was just a fun little thing to throw $30 at. They weren't even Tesla of my room. What? Stock market 101. And stock market, your name is Jose, right? I don't want to forget. I want to start getting better with everybody's name. But your name is Jose, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh, look at that. Duncan Worth is in here. He should be doing homework. I think he has all his homework done. I don't know. I'll go check in a little while. What is IPO? Well, why don't you go do your homework? Not worry about IPOs. No, thanks for coming, son. I actually covered that at the start of the video, and you know, you can just walk in here and I'll show you what an IPO is. Medina, to get pre-IPO shares of Robinhood, I will need to contact a real broker. Yes. Okay, yes. Good. Thank you. Absolutely, Medina. Yes, you'll have to get with a professional broker. You're going to have to get with a... you're going to have to get with, yes, like a TD Ameritrade, an E-Trade, Fidelity. You're going to have to get with a professional broker on that. Charles Schwab, JP Morgan Chase. You know, you're going to have to get with a big bank, big broker. And then, it really, guys, I hate to say, it's almost like going to court. It is. Because then you got to get a broker specialist that's willing to go that extra mile for you. Because if you're not a multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire, they really don't care about you very much. You have to like claw your way through it and demand some of those pre-IPO shares. And they're going to hand you a stack of paperwork that looks like a mortgage to a house and say, fill all that out. And then you're going to fill all that out and get it back to them. And then they're going to call you back in about a week and say, we got more paperwork for you to fill out. And then you got to fill all that out. And at some point, you might be like, is this even worth it? So, but if it's something you love, if it's a company you want a part of, then yes, it's definitely worth it. You know, I got Alibaba at a great discount from when it opened in the market. So Medina, how do you find out if the big companies are backing up an IPO or are they staying? You have to read the prospectus. You have to, you know, before a company goes IPOs, they're going to have, you know, they're going to offer a prospectus and they're going to offer all of their, you know, and that's public information, all the banks that are going to underwrite them. So, yeah, you really want to cross-reference all that stuff. I can help you with that, Medina. If you ever find an IPO you're really, really interested in, you know, I can kind of walk you through that and try to help you with that when the time comes. So Tony Batu, I'm bullish on Airbnb when they IPO. Yes, Airbnb. Yeah, that's probably another really good one. You know, I can probably throw that in my mix of things to start asking about when I make my calls to the broker, because I've been asking them about Robinhood and Lyft. But Airbnb, that's a good one, and I haven't asked them about that yet. Do you have any idea when they're supposed to IPO, Tony? Maybe you can message a director or VP of that company to see if sales are up for that year. Yeah, you can, you know, and is the information you're going to get going to be accurate? I don't know. All I can remember is we got fed a line when Snapchat IPO'd. And Snapchat probably is very profitable. It does have a pretty good sized market cap. I'm going to pull gonna pull up and just kind of go over the kind of shit shape Snapchat is in now. Because I remember Snapchat getting so much hype. And, you know, I was convinced. Of course, I didn't buy into it, and thank God I didn't. But see, yeah, so after 1 month of trading, Snapchat was at $27 a share. Okay? And so since then, it's gotten down 14, 13. It's spiked up in February to back up to $20. And now it's at $8.04 a share. Okay? So it has lost 66.95% since the IPO in February of 2017. It's probably a good time to invest in Snapchat, but I'm still not a believer yet. I still don't know if they can go in a bullish direction. It's like same thing with Twitter. You know, Twitter IPO'd in 2013, and they move, the stock moves, and it keeps coming back and coming back, and it's not. I'm very disappointed in Twitter. As not just as a company, but just as a business model. I'm not seeing them innovate. And the thing is, they can't compete with Facebook. I know they do two totally different things, but they can't. They don't even try to compete with Facebook. And it's the platform itself is kind of useless to me, because Josh is always sending me tweets, and other than that, I don't get on Twitter. Sometimes I'll post videos on there, but it it just doesn't offer anything useful to me, really. Airbnb IPO in 2019, 2020. So we got a while. Good. We'll see that coming, and we can make adjustments and study up on that some more. But yeah, Tony, that's a good one. Airbnb is a good one to be keeping an eye on. Robinhood, Lyft, Airbnb, and Uber. So my brokers, I'm getting on their nerves because I keep asking them about this stuff. But hey, that's how you stay on top of things, is just I don't have to go home and live with these people or sleep in bed with them or anything like that. So I don't care if I get on their nerves. I want to know. I'm worried about these stocks. So I keep that kind of attitude. On a side note, just looked on FB, the red day got people quitting investment, trading, and Robinhood. Yeah, you can't get discouraged on a red day. You can't. I've seen a million of. You're gonna see plenty more. You can't get. I know exactly what you're talking about, Medina. The Facebook chat rooms, and everybody's just you shouldn't be down. You shouldn't be beating yourself up. If you have money, you should be adding to your positions. But yeah, it sucks when you look through your portfolio and everything's drifted back. Like if you let, I know, like in my IRA, I think 11 of my positions were red today, and I'm just, Amazon went back, Google went back, Alibaba, Nvidia, and they're all red. And I just log out and just move on, find other stuff to do. But a lot of these people put really ridiculous stuff on Facebook. And another thing too is that, and Medina, you've probably seen this before, but people start talking crazy on there. They start talking about wanting to run away and commit suicide and stuff, and it's just ugly. It's just walk away from it for a few days. You can always come back, They're going through a lawsuit. I can't post the link. You know what? We had the same thing come up. I guess you just can't post links in live chats, because I tried to fix that the other night and it wouldn't let me. Let me look again. Yeah, so I have, let's see, automatically block spam messages. All right, try it. You can try it now, Cyber Rave. It might let you. I've got it. I've got the automatically block spam messages. I have that turned off, so you should be able to. I turned it off on my regular YouTube videos, I have some filters on there, but as far as like links and stuff, I'll take a look at stuff like that. It doesn't bother me. You know, it's just like people will come on there and kind of self-promote. That really doesn't bother me either. You know, hey, that's what YouTube's for. You know, if you want to put other people's videos and stuff on there, I don't really care. You know, I know it bothers a lot of other creators, so it should bother me, but, you know, if it makes you guys happy, I don't care, you know. Will Facebook break support and drop to 120? I think Facebook's going to be a lot cheaper. I think we're going to see it test the 150s, probably the 140s again. Their next earnings report's very critical. I own Facebook as a long position. Am I adding on every weakness? No, I'm not. I'm waiting for 10% to fall off. Then I'll add a little bit. Then I want, I have quite a bit of tolerance in my Facebook position because I've held them for so long. But yeah, I think 120 is possible, Tony. I really do. You know, kind of depends on what this next earning, they guided down for the rest of 2018. They had lowered guidance for the rest of the year. So, yeah, I could see that happening. Anyone buying FireEye with all the cybersecurity hacks on Facebook? Probably should. It's not a bad idea, really. I got to the part where you was talking to me. Yeah. It is investment into. Okay. All right. I will not comment on Twitter. All I will say, only one person is keeping them relevant right now. Oh, you're talking about Trump. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Twitter is a very efficient platform for politicians and celebrities because they're just broadcasting their message. Okay, so this is how I think about, this is what I think about the movie, this is what I think about the sports team, this is what I think about the tariffs. So Twitter is a very, it's a useful platform for that, okay? For just, if you have a lot of followers, you have a huge audience, and you can just type a message and send it out, then yeah, Twitter is very efficient for that. But it's outside of that. I don't really see what else they do. You know what I mean? Like, okay, there's no way, like, Facebook has all these ways you can have a social side. You can have a business side, okay? Facebook has all the, like the local connections, the local marketplace, and Facebook is just loaded with great stuff. And you can build your Facebook completely around your interests, the things you like. So mine is mostly, investing, stock market, video gaming, sports. I've designed my Facebook to my interest in the things I enjoy doing, And you can do that with Twitter too, but it's just not, it just seems like it's like bringing a BB gun to a shootout or something. It's like, I don't know. I don't have a lot of use for Twitter. I'd rather use YouTube. I think YouTube is the best social platform. I think this is the most fun you can have socially online, is live streaming, a bunch of people coming in, commenting, we're all having fun, having a good time. That's how I like, I think YouTube is the best social platform. CGC, Canopy Growth, yes. When a big alcohol company made an investment into the company, $4.5 million. Yes. Okay, so you're talking about... Yes, I know. I've followed that story. Okay. Okay, I'm back on track so I can reply with what you say. The investment was because there is a farm report that says they were planning to legalize CBD. That means we will likely see $100 billion. Okay, I'll try. What are you doing, Cyberrave? You're running me around in circles. I think Canopy Growth is a good investment. I do. It's probably the best. If I had to choose one stock to invest in the marijuana industry, it would be Canopy Growth because we know the most about them. We have the most information about them. And Aurora is a pretty good one too. Of course, like I said, I still got to go with MJ. I still love my MJ because, you know, you got a little bit of all that stuff in there. So, you know, sometimes like Tilray will run up 20%, and the other stocks will run up 2 or 3%, and MJ is always like somewhere in the middle. It'll run up 7%. Like today, all the weed stocks took a huge loss. MJ didn't lose that much, you know. That's why I like it. It's very safe, but you're still getting the investing power of the marijuana industry. Nope, won't let me. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't know why you can't post links in here. I'll go back to our conversation on YouTube and pull it up. How about that? How does that sound? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, look at that. Worth More Investing is live now. Cool. All right, I'm going to grab your link. Now, CyberAve, are you talking about this YouTube video on Canopy Growth? Because you got a couple of links going on here. Here's the CNBC article. I'll grab that. Because we're already watching a YouTube video. We're doing a live stream, so I'll post the CNBC. And you're talking about the one with Constellation. Yeah. All right, I'm coming back. Don't leave, guys. I'm coming back. All right, so CyberAve posted this on my YouTube video here a while ago. I haven't had time to read it. I'm pretty familiar with the story. It's where Constellation Brands invested a bunch of money into Canopy Growth. So there's that. If you guys want to read that one, I can post links. Huh. Maybe I just need to make everybody a moderator. All right, so let's talk about Amazon. All right, let's talk about Amazon. Let's talk about it. Amazon has pulled back about $100 on the share. Like I said, a lot of that is just the market pressure right now. My position is looking still pretty good. I think I'm up about 26% lifetime on Amazon. Probably would have been a good day to add. If you have M1 Finance, you know, that would be a good time. Any of y'all in here use M1 Finance or are interested in using it, let me know. Because I'm going to do, I think my next live chat I'm going to go over M1 Finance. And I'm really love the platform. Medina, I know you use it, but I really love the M1 Finance platform. And I love the fractional share buying. And I tell you what made M1 Finance what it is a company like Amazon, Google, and Berkshire Hathaway. So these really expensive stocks. You know, of course, Amazon's around $2,000 or $1,900 a share. Google's like $1,200 a share. And Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares are like $300,000. So instead of those stocks splitting back and splitting shares back, what they've done is they allow you to buy fractional shares. So that really has taken the reasons away from the big companies to split their stock back, and it's also given, you know, smaller income investors the ability to basically get in any company they want. It's really a great thing. So if you haven't checked out M1 Finance, like I said, I'm probably going to do a live chat about that maybe Saturday night or Sunday night, probably over the weekend once all the distress cools off from the trading day. So what do you think about Amazon? What's on your mind? I'm pretty well versed in Amazon. What would you like to talk about? You can find it on the Pepsi video. Okay, yeah. CyberAve, he was talking about how they make more alcoholic drinks, some with CBD and beyond over time. Yes. There's definitely an investment there. And Constellation Brands would be a good investment too going into this. But they were a good Constellation Brands is a good investment. It's a stock that I have in an ETF. But I'm very fond of Constellation. I'm looking for the ticker of that company. So are you looking for the ticker on Constellation Brands? Because I can get that right now. Okay, the ticker on Constellation is STZ. There you go. He talked to Constellation Brands CEO Rob Sands. Cool. The last one. Okay, so there's the CNBC article if y'all want to take a look at that. Tony Batu, any updates on the gaming stocks? Take-Two, EA, Activision Blizzard? Yes. Okay, so I'm pretty much, I've covered Take-Two on my channel. I've made a video about that. I don't think anything has really changed on my stance with Take-Two. Nick over at Positive Investing made a really good video the other day about EA. So go if you want to. Go check that out. I think it was in like a 3 stocks to buy for October. But yeah, I'm also very bullish on EA. And then Activision Blizzard. Let's see, Marcos requested that. So that's in my digest here of videos I'm going to start working on. And I also am going to work on MGNA. But yeah, I'll be making Activision Blizzard videos soon. Soon as I get caught up with all my mess. It never ends. It never ends around here. I am not sure what you just said, Jeff, but my Alexia responded to you. Cool. Well, tell her I said hi and to start vacuuming the floor. Alright, so Becky says, I use it. I'm not sure what it is you use, Becky, but that's great. Is the best time to invest in CBC, but if there is legalization, as the hype tells us by this company, owner, you may want to make some long-term investments there, but I would not do it just now. Yeah, the way I play CGC is through MJ, the marijuana ETF. All that stuff is too risky for me. If I'm going to throw money at companies that risky, I'm going to stop myself. You know, I'm talking about big money here. I'm not talking about 1 or 2% of your account. I take a lot of risk, and though, you know, with smaller amounts of money. But if I'm gonna throw some big money at a big risk stock, I'm gonna talk myself out of it, and I'm gonna put it over here in my safer stocks like Google. You know, I just can't get enough Google, and the more I start using YouTube. And the more often I use it, just the more I love it. So, I'm very bullish on Google, Amazon. I'm less bullish on the current condition in China. So I would say as far as Alibaba, if you don't have a position yet, I think we're going to see it a little cheaper. It was pretty cheap today. Still very bullish on the long term, though. And Facebook. I just think if you want to take a position in those 2 stocks, you can wait a little bit, because I think we're going to see Facebook cheaper, and I think we're going to see Alibaba cheaper too. You might not see Google and Amazon cheaper. You know, today might be the cheapest you see it for a while. Maybe not. But I would feel a lot safer in those stocks right now. Like I said, the condition in China is still very day to day. And, you know, Facebook, like I said, they had lowered guidance for the rest of the year. I think Facebook, like Tony said, 120, we might not get that low, but I think 140, 150 is coming pretty soon. They hit the stock of the day. Cool. NBEV. Okay, I've got a video made up on NBEV. If you want to check it out, I'll grab you a link to that right now. How's that sound? All right, right there is a link to my NBEV video I made the other night. I got almost 2,000 views on that already, so it's doing really good. M1 Finance. Love M1 Finance. M1 Finance is awesome. I go long on M1 and swing trade on Robinhood. Cool, Tony. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to do a live stream and we can go over all the M1 things, and then I can take questions from everybody. I'm pretty well versed on it, have a pretty good understanding of it, and I really I love M1. I really do. And then I'm also going to do one on Webbull too, because I just started getting into Webbull. I really like it, and it's a heck of a thing. Even if you just well, I'll save that for you know, its own night. I don't want to. Let me get to these questions. If this BCD is allowed into the market like they say, any drinking tea and energy drink, yeah, there is a serious market for cannabis and marijuana, no doubt about it. It'll make drug tests pointless. Short drug testing companies. Yeah, you could find some pharmaceutical companies that specialize in that. Are you buying any JD at 52-week lows? No, I'm not. And I hate to say it, but I think JD is going to be cheaper. I think all the, you know, Tencent, Alibaba, and JD, unfortunately, they're all going to be a little cheaper, I think. Especially like today when the global economy stepped back. They can't even do, you know, with the downward pressure on China right now. Plus, like I said, the global economy kind of took a little notch back today. I think JD is going to be cheaper. Alibaba, Tencent. I think we're going to have a lot of opportunities to buy Chinese stocks. But you could take a position at the 52-week low. Sure, it's a good place to start. For someone like me who does not feel comfortable taking a position in Chinese stocks, is there an ETF you can recommend? Oh, absolutely, Medina. I love Chinese ETFs. You got MCHI. That's one I like. I like Yin, ticker symbol YINN. Let's see. I got several I invest in. KWeb, ticker symbol KWEB. Check that one out. And then check out XPP. Okay? And then also, another thing to do, guys, is always be tracking the Hang Seng Index. Okay, so that's like the Dow Jones of China. So always be tracking that for movement. But yeah, KWeb, MCHI, Yin, and XPP, Medina. Just look at all four of those. You know, investigate. You know, maybe me and you can talk about each individual ETF a little bit, and you know, make a decision from that. I like all four though. They're planning, if it does, to make CGC top provider in that market. That's what he said in the interview. So sounds like they will invest more into the future. Webbull is becoming my new ish. I may have to leave Robinhood for it. Well, don't leave Robinhood. Don't leave Robinhood. Just use Robinhood and Webbull, you know. You have enough little spaces on your phone for more apps. Right? I hope so. Becky says, I was looking at Webbull, but they're a Chinese company. So, Becky, I think this is the first chat you've come to. So, good to see you. Now, when did you just recently subscribe to the channel, or Tammy? Okay. Yeah, I did want to touch back on that. Good. Okay, good. I was looking at Webbull, but they're a Chinese company. Because I don't think you've been in one of our chats before, Becky. But anyways, welcome. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you on board. Let's see. Okay, I posted the Facebook story on the Pepsi video. So you got it over there on Facebook, CyberRave? Okay. Let LMAO touche. Okay, do you think IGC company is a scam? All right, let me tell you. Tammy, if you haven't watched my videos on that, I can give you kind of a brief summary. So, I made a stock analysis video on IGC. I think, I'm a little scared of it because they just come off the pink sheets. And then it got brought to my attention by Medina and a couple other subscribers that IGC, that their headquarters was actually a little rundown daycare. And we did a whole thing about that the other night. I called them. I did it, we posted pictures. I kind of felt like we were exposing them. But here's my progress. I have called twice. I have left 2 voicemails. And I've sent 2 emails. I have received nothing in return and no return phone call. So, I'm not going to touch that stock. I'm not going to touch IGC. It smells like fish, and I don't want to be anywhere near it. It's very shady that they have that voicemail set up. And like I said, I've called. I've left 2 very comprehensive, like, hello, this is my name, this is my phone number, please call me back, I'm an investor, I need to talk to you, and nothing. And no return email. So yeah, I'm just gonna stay away from it. And you know what's bad? There's other people on YouTube and Facebook that have noticed the same thing. So it's kind of a underground, maybe a social media thing right now. But yeah, I would just stay away from IGC until at least we get some resolution with that. But I do have 3 videos. I have more content about IGC than you'll ever want. So Medina said we did a whole video. Yeah, Medina helped me out a lot the other night. Medina and Money. I don't think Money's in here tonight, but yeah, the 2 of them really, really helped me out a lot. And we went to work. We were detectives, and we got busy. Thank you. I will check it out. All right. I would not invest in IGC unless I see their first earnings report. Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Cyber Rave. I didn't have plans to invest in them anyway. The only thing I would do is possibly trade them, But even that now, I don't want to get burnt. It's too, like Tilray, okay? Tilray's legit. They have a company website. They have, they'll answer the phone. They'll respond to emails. They have an investor relations department. They have all these products, blah, 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 blah. CGC, Aurora, some of these companies are fully transparent. What you see is what you get. Check them out. They're legitimate. And then there's companies like IGC that get one little news article published about them and the stock starts running. And somebody's going to get rich off this thing, but it's probably not going to be us. It's probably not going to be the investors. Medina says, I called them 3 times, Jeff, since your video. Nothing. Yeah, Medina called them. I called them. I have another subscriber that checked it out. And no, none of us have made any contact with anybody there. I've called during business hours. Like I said, I couldn't leave a more direct voicemail. Hello, this is my name. This is my phone number. Please call me back. Nothing. Nothing. IGC went from $14 and it's currently $5.15. Let me check that out. Yeah, I was watching them a little bit today. Oh, man. It got massacred. It's lower than that. It's 508. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. They got killed. It's all speculation. It's getting shorted a lot. Tammy says, thank you. Well, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate you coming to the chat tonight. Yeah, it's hype. CyberRave says, LOL. All right, guys. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good time tonight. I appreciate everybody coming out. I'll probably stream again Saturday night, but if not, I'll stream Sunday. And like I said, I'm going to work on those community cards so I can start getting that around YouTube when I go live. Because I know Marcos was disappointed the other day because he said that he never knows when I'm going to go live till I'm just live. So I'm going to start trying to publish some cards on YouTube to let everybody know when I'm going to go live and kind of, like the topic. And we could even kind of open up a comment section and see what everybody wants to talk. So I'm going to start experimenting with that. So just kind of be on the lookout on YouTube for those community chat cards. Anyways, I'm going to log off, guys. Thanks everybody for coming. This has been a lot of fun. I really love doing this. I really hope I'm helping people, and I definitely know you all are helping me a lot. So thanks, guys.